It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Plus, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's LAR.
Hello, friends! It is time for LAR, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am today's host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own pitchers and catchers in Mathias Kurosaki and Ryan Splash Potts. My main men, how are we doing on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon?
It's not as beautiful in New York because it snowed, and not like the fun type of snow. But other than that, I'm doing all right. I coached earlier today, but last week Pete Alonso re-signed with the Mets, so that was pretty good. I watched Mets yearbook yesterday, 2024 Mets yearbook. I normally don't watch those things, especially not when it premieres. But I decided to watch it yesterday, so it was a pretty cool thing they put together. So yeah, I'm doing all right. Still home alone with the cats.
Alex, I have one problem.
Yeah, what's up?
We hyped up the changing of the intro last week. I had an all-timer for my moment to myself.
You did, yeah, but you never sent me the clip.
It was available.
Yeah, you could send it to me. It was available.
I forget what I was gonna say, but we're vibing. I made cornbread today, so that's exciting times. Yeah. It's also snowing here, so
it's finally not snowing here, which I'm glad about. We're finally done with the ice, more or less. It's actually got clear blue skies. You can't see due to the glare, obviously. But no, we're vibing. Today's a big day. Today is when pitchers and catchers officially report. So the official start to baseball season is today, the date of the recording here. So honestly, baseball fans are just should be in a good mood today, because today we finally get our sport back. I mean, what more do you want to say? It's still got a long way to go, a lot more to do, but at least it's the official start.
It's baseball season officially, yes.
Or if you want to go to our group text, the moment that the Super Bowl ended, we all just started posting baseball.
Baseball.
Now it's time for baseball. Yep. We're done with football. Baseball time is now. I'm not going to talk about the Super Bowl probably very much, unless someone wants to do that for their moment to themselves.
Hey, man. Pat Mahomes. Former pitcher. That's about it.
That's all.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
I don't know how big of our listenership also listens to Cespedes Family Barbecue, their podcast, but they had a segment on what Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for the Chiefs, what his career would have looked like had he pursued professional baseball. And let's just say his career as Chiefs quarterback is a little bit more interesting than Tiger's third to fourth outfielder type, Randall Grichuk type.
I thought Pat Mahomes Jr., not senior, was a pitcher.
He had one outing at Texas Tech. He did not
okay.
report an out. So apparently he could both hit and pitch like in high school.
Shohei Ohtani, let's go, boys. Here we go.
I'm honestly surprised.
Jack Caglione.
I think it was Jake that did it. I don't know which one's which. My bad. I think it was Jake that did the homework assignment. I'm honestly surprised it wasn't like two-way superstar. Actually, Hank Aaron mixed with Greg Maddux.
I mean, he's got too much of an arm to be Greg Maddux.
That's a good point.
That's the thing,
maybe Hank Aaron matched with Satchel Paige.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if you have Hank Aaron and Satchel Paige put together, you just have created the best baseball player to ever exist.
Yeah.
Or Babe Ruth.
I think pitching-wise, I would take Satchel over Babe Ruth.
I mean, Babe Ruth had like a 2.16 ERA.
I mean,
different styles of pitching.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Satchel Paige also, they clocked one of his fastballs in at 105, and he said he wasn't trying.
Yeah.
So
that man's a
world
mystery.
famous B-ball. Is it B where I want it to be?
Some people the B-ball is great. I love that so much. Anyway, all that aside here, it is time for our first segment of the day here. Continuing on with our positional rankings, it is our left field rankings here. So each of us have combined our list made our own list for our top 5 left fielders going into the 2025 season. Splash, do you have the graphic ready to go?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay,
yes.
No worries. But yeah, so honestly, I don't know about you guys, but this position group feels like a letdown after the last few ones that we've done.
You can just say sucks, Alex. You can just say it's.
Well, okay.
Let me add some more. I'm trying to give you more time, you dunce.
I'll say this much, which is that last year left field was probably the weakest position on the diamond, and entering the season, that is. But this year, I think there was actually like some stiff competition to figure out who the top 5 were, like because there were some actually productive left fielders last year. So it's we're probably going to see different names than we saw last year on our top 5.
Some amazing left fielders listed here on this podcast, including Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr.
Yeah, I mean, Betts might play left field.
Honestly, there's a non-zero chance that Betts will play some left field at the very least.
Non-zero.
Have you guys heard the story? Like, you guys know the story that they're talking about moving Altuve to left field?
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually.
I don't buy
Bregman's
it.
not going to Houston.
I was say unless Bregman actually re-signs, I don't think that's happening. And
So
I don't think
over-under,
Bregman's re-signing.
We already now know that Bregman is not re-signed for the start of spring training camp at this point now. So any takes on when he will officially sign? Or are we going to get into the regular season before he finally signs?
No, I'd say another 2 weeks, and he'll sign probably like a 5-year deal, but with an opt-out after 2 years or something. Like
opt-out after 1 year. Do the Correa thing.
I think so. It depends on where he goes. To me, if he goes to apparently he's down to the Cubs, Red Sox, and Tigers. So if he signs with the Red Sox or Cubs, I would imagine that's a shorter length deal. That's like what Alonso did with the Mets. But if he signs with the Tigers, I think that would be like a longer term deal. Yeah, a longer term deal. Because there's no reason to go to Comerica and tank your offensive value for a year. You might as well go to Boston if you want to play for a year. And Chicago Cubs is a goofy run environment, but so I just go to Boston, play second base, boost your value. Because I mean, you could argue Alex Bregman would immediately be the best second baseman in baseball. Maybe something like that. You could argue.
I would have to see.
Yeah, I don't think that's a valid argument yet.
He'd be probably top 5, but we'd have to see him actually play the position.
Yeah, I need to see him actually play it.
I trust him more defensively than Jose Altuve.
Oh, same.
I mean, that's not saying much, though.
Yeah,
he's way more athletic, I think.
Then offensively, I think they're equivalent or like in enough of a ballpark.
It's a push, yeah.
Regardless, here, let's move on to our left fielders here. Stop talking about Astros. Here,
Chas McCormick, number 1, baby.
Okay.
All right, cool. Good to know. Splash is number 1. Chas McCormick. Please write that down. So like I said, I'll be honest here with you guys that this was a hard list to make. And where other times it was like, oh yeah, we have star studs at the top here. Doesn't feel like we really have star studs anywhere in this position. Like we have some good ball players, but no stars. Which, I mean, again, it's up to everyone's own interpretation. I'll go first. Then for mine, I'm waiting to see Splash here. Esteury Ruiz. Actually, I could see that one. I could see Esteury.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Although he's a center fielder, if I remember right.
He is probably going to play in AAA.
He's so much better than that, though.
Is he though?
Yes. Yes, he absolutely is. Anyway, we'll get started here with my number 5. I have Wyatt Langford. Wyatt Langford is what I consider putting a little bit higher on the list here, but honestly, I just haven't seen enough of him that has been positive. He's a good offensive bat, right? Like he still hits. Like he has a BABIP going into the season of 302 here, averages about in the 260s somewhere. He's decent defensively. Like honestly, of the outfielders here, defensive wise, he's somehow one of the better ones here. But for Wyatt Langford here, it's his bat that really carries him, as it's going to do for a lot of people here. Has a projected WOBA here of 340 and a WRC plus of 123, which is higher than a lot of other viable left fielders. But when it comes to Langford, it's really going to come down to he's now had a full season. He's had one full season in the majors. He played in a little bit in 2023. But now we get to see what he could do here in what I like to call the sophomore slump. Here, the second year for a lot of players, they have a bit of a down till now that the scouting report is out. But let's see how well he does from it. But he's still good enough that he's my number 5.
So I'll say this, that Langford is one of my honorable mentions. He in September especially, he started showing signs of what he can be. He had a 996 OPS and hit 8 homers with 7 steals in the month of September. That's really, really good. Obviously, he also hit for the cycle during the year. He's overall, I think Langford will be in my top 5 next year. A couple other guys that were tough omissions for me. Brandon Nimmo was my number 1 entering last year. I think Nimmo is still a very good player, but dealing with the plantar fasciitis for most of last year, he ended up having a down season. He really struggled in the second half, and he admitted after the year he was playing through pain. So I had to leave him off. I had to leave Brian Reynolds off too. I really like Brian Reynolds, but as great, as solid as his bat is, he was the worst qualified left fielder defensively, which kind of brings him down. So I had to leave him off. And this guy is probably my first one off. Jurickson Profar. I really wanted to put him on my top 5. His defense really concerns me. If I'm being honest, I don't know if left field is his position going forward. Maybe we see him shift around a little bit, but I think Profar proved last year he can hit. I think the adjustments he made last year, I don't know if he can necessarily be like a 140 WRC plus guy or, it's over 130 again, but I think it's fair to expect between 120 and 130. But my number 5, I have another rookie. I have Jackson Chourio. Chourio was awesome last year. I mean, really, 2020 guy as a rookie. Most years he's probably a front runner for rookie of the year, but last year, because of how good the NL rookie class was, he was only 3rd. But you saw, especially in the second half, he kind of got off to a rocky start, but 914 OPS in the second half with 12 homers and 12 steals. Solid defense in left field. I think he's going to stick in left field this year. I need to see a little more. I need to see a second strong year before I really put him higher up. But I think number 5 is a solid starting point. And remember, he's the youngest player in the majors. So Jackson Chourio has a bright future ahead. He's coming in number 5 this year.
I think it's very possible that we're going to see almost a Bryce Harper field for him at that point, where it is someone we're hesitant to put on these lists here because he is so young. But as the years go on, it's just going to be proven more and more that he is a real threat. I'll say I do not have Jackson Chourio on my list here. It was a really tough omission to not have him on because of how strong he did play last year. My main questions are just youth and how well is he going to deal in the second season. Here, also, is he going to be a left fielder? We were talking about which positions he could be moving around a good bit more this coming year as well. So, Splash, who do you got for your number 5?
Yeah, so some honorable mentions first. No Jurickson Profar, no Ian Happ. He was in my list last year. No Anthony Santander. He's going to play left in Toronto. And no Elliot Ramos. And he was one of my favorite players last year, but he's not on my list. My number 5 is also Jackson Chourio. Like Max said, a bit of a colder start to his career, but he was absolutely roasting hot in the second half. And he was really excellent defensively. By the end of the season, the Brewers had just a tremendous defensive outfield with Mitchell and Frelick and Chourio in left. And Chourio can play center, he can play right, and it depends on what the Brewers decide to do with Christian Yelich and what they decide to do with Garrett Mitchell and what they decide to do with Sal Frelick. And these pieces can, mix and match, and they'll be amorphous there and be able to play each spot. But, Chourio just screams Ronald Acuna Jr. to me. And that is sort of a cliche, both top prospects. But it's legit 30-30 ability. And I think Chourio could be a 30-30 player as soon as this year. I don't think he has quite the power upside that Ronald does, but I think the defense is certainly significantly better than what Ronald is bringing, especially now with the multiple ACLs. But I think Churio is a true 5-tool talent, and left field doesn't usually get that. A lot of like our right fielder list probably would be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 over in left field. But Churio has the potential to me to be a top of the line left fielder, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but for a decade plus.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, he does, and kind of goes into what I was saying just a moment ago about like the Bryce Harper comparison in that sort of way here. Mm-hmm. I'll mention some other kind of honorable mentions that I didn't have. I also didn't have Nemo. I also didn't have Hap on my list here. It feels honestly hard not to put some of these guys on here, but they're like the more and more you look at this list, like you don't have as much star power, but you do still have some solid players here. So I'll go on to my number 4 then. You guys did not put him on my list. I put him on mine. I put Jurickson Profar as number 4. And my main thing is you're absolutely right when it comes to the defense here. You're absolutely right when it comes to it. But at this point right now, I think there's a legitimate argument to be made that the position that defense matters the least in is left field. Left field, first base, kind of similar in that although to be fair, as a first baseman myself, defense matters. But Jurickson Profar last year really proved what people have been saying about him before everything went on with him, that he could be this awesome offensive player, and he had this extreme outburst last year. I remember like us when we were talking in our chats, right, trying to rank like the players of the month and all that, and I wanted to put Profar in as like at the top, and you guys were kind of laughing or saying like I need to see more before I can believe this is real. Well, we had a full year of it. Full year of real Jurickson Profar. And if I remember right, didn't he get MVP votes? Like some off ones?
Yeah. Yes. Profar did get MVP votes. And if you check back to our mid-June episode, I believe it was June 18th. Mm-hmm. Alex, you said Jurickson Profar was your MVP as of June 18th.
Yeah. That's what I was saying.
It was right when bets went down. And I don't think you said he was like your pick the rest of the season, but
yeah,
when we were recording, he was your pick. Marcelo Ozuna was my pick at the time. So
yeah,
and Ohtani was number 1 in the odds. I think that's
fair enough.
Mac ended up picking.
I mean, to be fair, that just means I'm being consistent finally.
Yes,
but
yes, we love consistency.
We do, but no, yeah, he is an offensive threat. I really want to see what he does this year. Like, legitimately, this feels like this is going to be a weird comparison. I do apologize for that, but let me cook for a second here. This feels like a Howard Stern type feel of it, where there's a talk about Howard Stern about how he got so popular, and that is that there was a movie that talked about it where the average Howard Stern lover listened to him for about an hour and a half every day, but with the most common thing about them saying that nice, yeah, go watch that VOD, beautiful. Yeah, he's also on the Braves now. Yay. The most thing that was commonly said is, I want to see what he's going to say next. And the same thing is the average Howard Stern hater watches for 2.5 hours every day with the same common reasoning being, I just want to see what he's going to say next. And I feel it's very similar here with Profar. We've seen a lot of years of Profar where it was nothing. And now he was an MVP candidate here. I need to see what happened. I need to see if this is going to keep happening or if he's going to regress back to the old Profar. So for that reason, though, I still have to reward what an incredible season 2024 was. So he's number 4 on my list.
So at my number 4, I have a guy both of you left off too. I have Ian Happ. So Happ, I know, isn't necessarily like a superstar player, but I think, year in and year out, you're getting a pretty good player. I mean, he's now a 3-time Gold Glover. I understand that DRS likes him a lot more than OAA. He's 8 DRS last year, -2 OAA. I don't know. Those defensive statistics kind of confuse me. We were talking about this before the show, but you get some weird things there. But anyway, again, another 120 WRC plus season. It was at 122 this year. 25 homers. That's tied for his career high. He's been an above average hitter by WRC plus every single year he's played in the majors. So 3.6 F4, and I think that's the type of player you're going to get every single season. You're going to get around a 120 WRC plus with solid defense in left field. He's a switch hitter who hits for power. His hard hit rate went up last year. His average exit velocity went up. His walk rate and strikeout rate did sort of head in the wrong direction, but he was hitting the ball much harder, getting the ball in the air more. So I think you're almost willing to sacrifice a little bit of that for more power. But overall, I think Ian Happ is almost a little underrated. He's overall just a solid big leaguer. And that's what I think gave him the edge over Chourio, is that we've seen him do this for a few years, him being a consistently solid player. So he's number 4 for me.
Honestly, that's a fantastic point to make on this.
Yeah, and it's weird for the left fielders to be that all around type. Like I mentioned it with Chourio, you've mentioned it with Happ. Usually the left field is for your big bopper, right? Your Kyle Schwarber type, late career Barry Bonds. Of course, Barry Bonds is a 5-tool player, but late career Barry Bonds is the stereotypical like hit 40 homers, give up 40 runs in the field. Adam Dunn played a lot of left field, but my number 4. Am I the high man on Brandon Nimmo for once?
Wow.
Listen, I know he.
I wanted to put Nimmo. Look, I wanted to put Nimmo on my list. You guys know I met him after a game last year. He's a super nice guy. I like him as a player. I just, compared to this field, I had a hard time ranking him.
I get it, but Brandon Nimmo moves me. He hit for more power. I know the batting average dipped to 220. I don't really care. He really slots in well, whether you want to bat him leadoff, whether you want to bat him third. Of course, the Juan Soto of it all now. You could probably just not Carlos. Is it Carlos Mendoza, the manager?
Yeah, Mendoza. Yeah.
Okay, Mendoza could just throw all the names in the hat, pick it out, and probably have the second best lineup in the National League or third best lineup in the National League. Nimmo, I think, can be in the leadoff spot, or he can be in the 3-hole and drive in runs like he did last year. And just a really talented hitter, a pest, sees a lot of pitches, fouls a lot of pitches off. He's a pain in the buttocks to pitch against, even left on left. Hit for a lot more power this season than he had in previous years. A good base runner, even if he's not big on the steals department. And I think his second full year in left field, he'll be a little bit better defensively. And that was one of my projections, I guess, last year, that he was going to be more of like a Gold Glover type in left as opposed to just a good center fielder. I thought he was going to be a little bit better in left, but that didn't exactly come to fruition. He was dealing with injuries. In left field, it can be a difficult spot to play at Citi Field. So I am big on Brandon Nimmo this year. Put him at the top of the lineup with the Lindors, the Sotos, and Alonsos, and he's going to get a lot of runs in front of Alonso, and he's going to drive in a lot of runs if he's hitting behind Soto and Lindor. So Nimmo is my 3. Nimmo is my 4.
Mm-hmm.
And jumping up to number 3.
I want to say one thing real quick just before you go too much farther. Because I will say one thing on this. A Mets lineup that goes Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, Alonso goes so hard.
That's crazy scary. Thing is, I'm pretty sure Nimmo's going to bat 5th this year.
Really?
Yeah, because Lindor's not moving out of the leadoff spot.
Oh, that's a fair point.
So Soto will probably bat 2nd, then probably Alonso or Vientos 3-4, and then Nimmo 5th.
Okay. I don't hate that. That's fine.
I don't hate it. I don't love it though.
That's fine. You can do some like lefty right or left right mix matching.
Yeah,
you gotta get the platoon on that switch hitter of Lindor.
Yeah, hey, platoon. Ketel Marte is really good against one side and like pretty average.
I know. I'm just giving you.
Yeah. Ozzy Albies. Let me tell you,
Ozzy Albies. Yep.
Ozzy. Oh man,
boy can he hit lefties.
Boy can he play a second base.
Yeah. Ozzy was not featured in our second base list, unfortunately, but
correct.
Someone who will be featured in this list, my number 3, none other than we're heading back to the quantum realm. Stephen Kwan, Cleveland Guardians, another player that hit for more power in the wind vortex known as Progressive Field somehow, some way. But yeah, Stephen Kwan, just a great at bat. Excellent defensively, excellent base runner. And it continues the theme, at least of my list, that these well-rounded players, Quan has been a Gold Glover in the past, again, runs the bases, hit for more power than you think, but he is that Luis Arraez, like low strikeout rate, really high batting average, but he brings a little bit more pop, a couple extra doubles, a couple extra homers, and unlike Arraez, he's not a one-tool player. He was +6 fielding run value, +1 base runs, a 284 expected batting average. Just it feels like every batted ball is right in the middle of the barrel, just serving line drives across the outfield. Never strikes out, never whiffs, never chases. Walks enough. One nit you can pick with these high batting average guys is that they don't walk a lot. The Tony Gwynn types, the Ichiro types, it's like 6% walk rate, 7% walk rate. Not Stephen Kwan will draw his walks. He will walk over to first base and then swipe second, or walk over to first base, then go to third on a single. And he's not the fastest player anymore, but he's a really savvy base runner, really good arm in left, a solid arm in left, but tremendous ability to field his position. And I think he has some brighter days ahead, although the top two is really gnarly.
Yeah. Stephen Kwan is definitely one of those players is an archetype we just don't see very much anymore. Like you said, like the Ichiro style of player, where I'm not going to hit a whole ton of homers, but I'm going to get on base, I'm going to steal a base, and I'm going to play good defense from it. And last year he really did also put in a little extra power. Mac, how about you go for your number 3 next?
Yeah, I also have Stephen Kwan. Kwan is just overall solid player, prototypical leadoff man. I will say a little concerned by the 618 OPS in the second half. He was a baller in the first half. I believe he was leading the batting title race at the halfway point, but still, I mean, career high 14 home runs. He'd only hit 11 in the first 2 seasons of his career combined. Another Gold Glove in left field. He's just a solid player. He doesn't have a very good arm, but he's just overall a solid left fielder. 126 OPS plus, 131 WRC plus. Both of those are career highs for him. And, you know what you're going to get out of Stephen Kwan. Every year, he's going to be a high-contact bat. He'll get on base. He will not strike out. He doesn't hit the ball particularly hard, but when you run as fast as he does, granted, his sprint speed was not great this year, but, he can turn on the afterburners if he needs to. But when you make as much contact as he does, you don't necessarily have to hit it hard. He's more of a hit it where you ain't, hit it where they ain't type of player. Which is fine. But overall, I really like watching Stephen Kwan play. He also went 11 for 21 in the ALDS. So I think that he can turn it around from that rough second half, maybe hit around 300 again this year.
Yeah, Stephen Kwan is an absolute amazing baseball player. He's not my number 3. My number 3 is Jarren Duran. I think that Duran, the top 3 of this, I felt very weird trying to place them here. Duran easily could have been number 1. I think that Duran could have easily been number 2, and I think he easily could have been number 3. I decided to go him at 3 just because I like what I see from some of the other ones as well. Before Duran overall, looking at what he had last year, again, kind of came out of nowhere a little bit here. He has a fairly low walk rate, a pretty high strikeout rate overall, but man, the dude can hit, and he's great defensively. This is a guy that you want out there playing left field every single day if you get the chance to have him. He's a solid player, good bat, good power, good fielding. He's again kind of like we talked about, a little bit more of the prototypical bopper, but also has the good defense to go along with it. And then I'll go to my number 2 here, and I'll join you guys in the quantum realm. I love Stephen Kwan. I think that Kwan is a fantastic baseball player. I love watching him play. He is the prototype. He's an Ichiro-like player. Less of an arm, obviously. But watching him play, I almost fear watching him. I get that fear because I'm like, oh no, he's going to start a rally. Oh no, he's going to get on base and everyone's going to scramble because they're like, how do we stop him? Kwan is exactly that kind of player. Here, he's not the biggest walk drawer of all time. He's not the biggest, power guy, but he does not need to be. He plays decent enough defense, really good offensive production by getting on base, stealing bases, hitting a few homers. He is projected to have 19 steals on the season. I think he's probably going to have more than that here. And he knows how to, as Billy Bean says, get on base. Right now, projected to have a 361 on base percentage as according to Fangraphs overall here. So yeah, he's my number 2.
So actually, Splash, go ahead.
All right. I'll stay in the AL Central. Give me Riley Green. Hello. Terrific bat. I think he's a guy that could flirt with a 150 OPS plus this season. Solid base runner, plus fielder. He can play center. Parker Meadows is a better center fielder, so you move him off into left field and he'll be a plus left fielder. He draws his walks, 11% walk rate last season. A little bit of swing and miss, about a 26% K rate, but he smokes the baseball. We talked about Quan. He doesn't smoke the baseball. Riley Green hits the ball with authority. 477 expected slug last year, 91 miles per hour expected exit velo, 13% barrel rate, 47% hard hit rate, 39% sweet spot percentage, 74.6 mile per hour bat speed. Doesn't chase much. Just a tremendous eye at the plate, and a very well-rounded hitter. And to me, the best bet to be the best hitting left fielder in baseball this season, barring like Jackson Churio actually becoming Ronald Acuna. But Riley Green to me should be the highest projected left fielder. And the only reason he's not my number 1 is because one of these guys played at like a freaking MVP level last season, but he happened to be in the American League in a absolutely loaded year.
Yeah, so Riley Green is also my number 2 left fielder. It felt like we were waiting on him to break out. He finally did break out this year. 5.4 baseball reference WAR. Fangraphs is a little lower on him. He was 4.0 Fangraphs WAR, but still, those are numbers you definitely sign up for in left field. The offense took a step forward, which is great. 135 WRC plus. He doesn't steal a lot of bags for a guy who does have decent wheels and is pretty athletic, but 24 homers, 74 RBIs. His strikeout rate is slowly coming down. 26.7 last year compared to 27.4 in 23 and 28.7 when he first got called up. But an 11% walk rate, that's a big increase for him. 217 ISO is almost 60 points higher than what it was in 2023. And he did that despite his BABIP falling almost 60 points. So overall, it was just a huge step forward for Riley Green. And I think going forward, he's only 24. He turned 24 at the end of the season. We're looking at a guy who is a cornerstone piece for the Tigers. I think if you're Detroit, this is a guy you look to extend because he's going to be leading your offense for a long time. He's their best hitter, I think, right now. So Riley Green checks in at number 2. And if you guys don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead to number 1. And there's no way around it. Caught me completely by surprise this year. Jarren Duran is the best left fielder in baseball. What more can I say about this guy? If you told me coming into the year, the guy who once lost the ball in the lights on an inside the park grand slam would be the best left fielder in baseball. What more can I say? Yes, he did strike out 160 times last year, but when you play the way he did, it doesn't really matter. All right. 8.7 baseball reference WAR. All right. It's a little lower on Fangraphs, but still 8.7 wins above replacement on any site is really good. 6.7 FWAR. Major league leading 48 doubles, 14 triples, 21 homers, 34 steals. Just overall a great season. MVP. He got MVP votes. 8th place in MVP voting, All-Star Game MVP, solid defensive left fielder. I think all around this is the full package in left field. So Jarren Duran, I hope he can keep this level of play going because the Red Sox, it looks like they have a star on their hands. So he's number 1, and I don't know if it was particularly close after this season. Probably will be closer next year.
All right. So, Splash, you want to go next?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in at number 1, I have Mr. Tennis Racket himself, Jarren Duran. Like Max said, led the majors in doubles, but he also led the majors in triples. That doesn't happen too often. 21 homers as well, 34 steals as well. So get you a guy that can do it all. Baseball Reference really loved the defense, plus 23 DRS, outs above average, not quite as rosy, but
11 OAA though is
yeah,
pretty strong.
That's great. Not quite 23, but fair enough. But excellent base runner, plus 9 base runs on Baseball Reference, and like you said, 8.7 WAR. And he entered the season with a career 1.3 WAR. So, quintupling, even more than quintupling his career WAR output. Hit 285 last year, hit 295, but this year added a smidge more slug, added 20 points to his ISO. On base percentage stayed about the same, even though his batting average dropped. And yeah, the strikeouts are concerning. 1 strikeout a game, but he did lead the majors in plate appearances. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there that his high strikeout total was more a case of lots of plate appearances, because a 22% strikeout rate is below league average. Actually, his walk rate is slowly creeping up. So if he's a guy that's, a 22% strikeout rate, 8% walk rate, plus defense in left, arguably plus defense in left, and then you have Rafael next to him in center, that's just a preposterously good defensive pair. If he ISOs over 200, steals some bags, and I love the, usually when you see the big ISOs, it's a lot of homers, right? But I love 62 total doubles and triples. That just makes me happy. That just brings me back to 2007 Jimmy Rollins, 20 triples, 2007 Curtis Granderson, 20 triples. It's exhilarating to watch those players. And, chicks dig the long ball. I get it. And we're in this world of the 3 true outcomes. I get it. And I like 3 true outcome baseball. Mathematically efficient. I get it. But it's fun watching Jarren Duran run the bases. It's fun watching doubles. It's fun watching triples. And Jarren Duran gave us 62 of those last season.
Yep. Like for Duran, I really could have put a number 1. I could have put Quan number 1. Instead of number 1, I have put Luke Raley of the Seattle Mariners. They're my big butt son. No. Yeah, Ham Swaggerty, legendary number 1 for, I believe, the Texas now.
Texas Rangers, yep.
Yeah, Texas. No, my number 1's Riley Green. Who are you about to type there, Splash? I need to know. Who are you about to type?
Josh H. Smith.
There we go. Okay, I thought you were honestly going to put JJ.
Utility man, silver slugger, by the way.
Yeah. No, Riley Green. I'm surprised that I have Riley Green above you, Splash, on this, considering how high you've been on him as of late. But at the same time, I really like what I'm seeing from Riley Green overall. Last year took a huge jump. Here's the thing with him, right? And this is probably why I decided to go with him here, is that I talked earlier about the sophomore slump being a thing, right? That your first year, you're going to have some pretty good numbers probably, but when the scouting report comes out at you, it's going to take a little time for you to adjust. Riley Green got better. He got a lot better. Here, take a look at 2022 when he's made his debut. 93 games here, had an OPS of 97. Not great, not amazing, right below average. Then 2023, age 22 season here, bumps that up by over 20 points here to a 119 OPS plus. And, maybe you could stop. No, he got better to a 1. Excuse me, that's our bet. My apologies. No, for OPS. No, I'm right. To a 133 OPS plus. I love what I'm seeing from, and then taking a look at what Fangraphs has to say about Riley Green. They're projecting is going to keep on that upgo right now at a projected 4 WAR season from a WRC plus of 129. The only other quote left fielder that they have a higher WRC plus than him is not a left fielder. He's a designated hitter. We'll talk about him later. It's Jordan Alvarez, by the way. On that. No, when I'm looking at Riley Green, I love the fact that now he has built that consistency. He's now done it 2 years in a row. He has now done huge progression. So what is he going to do now in his 4th season? He has shown that he has the ability. He's not had a, quote, bad season yet. He had his first season that was slightly below average. but for a rookie, I'm willing to overlook that here because then the next year he became above average, and then the year after that, well above average. I'm projecting that for 2025, he is going to be the best left fielder in all of baseball.
Well, if we're saying best left fielder this season, I have a giant in our nation's capital that might have something to say about that.
Oh, yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Aaron Judge 2.0, that's James Wood. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I think Wood's going to be
games this season.
Wood is going to be a monster this season. I'm telling you.
Gosh, I really hope so. Anyway,
I think there's a chance that like Wood, Langford, even like I don't know if Evan Carter is going to play. I guess Evan Carter wouldn't play left field, but like there's a lot of young talent. Like even like we were saying, Green is only 24. Like this list could look pretty different next year.
Heck, we had the list. You can check us out on Instagram at LAR_baseball. We had a post a couple of weeks ago now of our all our top 10 players under 25. Corbin Carroll, he's under 25 still. Jackson Chourio, he's only 20. Ellie De La Cruz is 23. Riley Green is 24. Michael Harris is 23, at least for another month. Gunnar Henderson is 23. Jackson Merrill is 21. Julio is 24. Paul Skeens is 22. Bobby Witt's 24. Just so much young talent in baseball, and there's a crazy list of prospects coming up. You have Ethan Salas is still 18 years old. Is it Jesus Made for the Brewers is even younger. He's like 18 in 3 months. Leo DeVry for San Diego. He's like 19.
We are positive about success.
That's a good one.
Yeah, good pull. But there's just so much. There's just so much talent across baseball, and thankfully we can watch it.
Yep, 100%. Let us know what you guys think here. What is your top? Who are your top 5 left fielders going into 2025? Let us know. Hey, do you think Alex is dumb for not putting Duran at number 1? Probably. Do you guys think, hey, Randy Rosarena should have been in the top 5? Let us know here on Twitter at LAR_baseball. So, with that being said, I'm going to hand the reins over to Splash here for a little bit of this or that. Here, we have time for 2, I believe, if that's all right here, so we can try to keep the show at about an hour. Here,
okay.
So are you all right with that, Splash?
Yeah, I did make 3 graphics, so if we go fast, we can get through the 3 if need be.
Okay.
All right. Our first question for this or that, it might hit home for one of you. Who wins more games, the reigning American League champion New York Yankees or the Mets?
I'll go first on this.
Go first,
the Mets.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I think the Mets are honestly, this is going to be a stretch here to say this. I think the Mets are a better team.
I don't think it's a stretch. I'm just going to say
cool. Thank you. But no, I think that now you take Soto off of the Yankees and put him on the Mets here. That is a seismic level shift here on this. And I took a look at the Yankees. You've got Judge. You've got some other players. I'm not high on them. Even last year, I wasn't like obscenely high on them. I knew that, you could be carried by 2 baseball players. But now one of those baseball players is also on a team with Lindor and on a team with Nimmo, on a team with Pete Alonso. I think the Mets are just a better ball club. The Yankees are also in what I think is a tougher division, that top to bottom. The AL East, I still think, is a stupidly strong division. I think that the NL East is also strong. Do not get me wrong, but the NL East also still has the Marlins and the Nationals. So I think the Mets have the better record.
All right, so because we're talking about regular season though.
Yep.
So because of that, the only reason why I'm picking the Yankees here is because the Mets have. I think the Mets actually have tougher competition than the Yankees. All right. I think that it's because the talent gap between the Yankees and the rest of the AL East is far greater than the competition. The gap between the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies and even the Nationals. All right. And I'll say this because the Mets only won 89 games last year, but I don't think the Yankees would have beaten them or the Padres or the Phillies in the World Series. And obviously they didn't beat the Dodgers, but the reason why I'm picking the Yankees here is because they don't have to face the Braves and Phillies a dozen times each. So
I mean, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah.
So like in the regular season, I'm going to pick the Yankees. In the postseason, I'm picking the Mets. But for this prompt specifically, I'm taking the Yankees to win more games.
So this is the fun one. Their numbers on Fangraphs, 87 for both, also tied with the Phillies. According to projected WAR, the Yankees are a win ahead. And I'm actually going to mix the opinions here. I think the Yankees have a smidge more pitching than the Mets do, and I think that'll translate more to regular season success. And I think the Yankees will win a couple extra games. And I think the Yankees, as Max said, are in a bit of an easier division. I think there is a gap between the Yankees and the rest of the division. And the Mets, the Yankees are unequivocally the best team in the American League East. The Mets are not unequivocally the best team in the NL East. They might be one, they might be three. I don't know. The Braves, Phillies, and Mets are all in this, to me, 85 to 95 win range. Any number in that group. I guess the Braves could win 100 games. The Mets could win 100 games. I would be surprised if the Phillies won 100 games, but I would also be surprised if the Phillies won fewer than 85. That would be the really surprise out of the group. But I would take the Yankees by 2 or 3 wins, maybe like a 93 win season for the Yankees, a 90 win season for the Mets.
That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2, non-sports related. Here's a doozy.
Go.
Would you rather, for the rest of your existence, only be able to use spoons or only be able to use forks?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with spoons here. You can't eat ice cream. Eating ice cream with a fork is just weird. You can use a spoon to literally eat anything. So that's my answer.
Yeah, my answer. I'm also going with spoons. I love a lot of things that you can eat with spoons overall. Like I love ramen, and you can eat the noodles of ramen with a fork. You can eat the thing. You can eat. So the other things with ramen with a fork, you can't have the broth without the spoon. I think that spoons just overall, like, they're not going to be amazing for every kind of food, but they at least can eat every kind of food. Yeah. Whereas forks, if you try to eat a soup with a fork, I'm looking at you weird and calling the cops.
Same.
So hear me out.
No.
I'm not saying I'm picking forks, but I think if you were given this, you could adjust what you're eating and like avoid soups and like,
yeah, but soup is there though.
Cereal, for example. I don't like having cereal for breakfast. Hot take. I like cereal. I do genuinely enjoy cereal. I do not like it for breakfast. So I think I could go without eating cereal. And that is one of the big spoon foods, right? And soups and ice cream. I'm not a huge ice cream guy. I know another hot take.
What?
Yeah. It depends on the ice cream. It has to be the mood for the ice cream. And soups. Like I drain my ramen. That is a extraordinarily hot take.
Wait, what?
That is
what do you mean? What do you mean you drain your ramen? You don't have the broth.
I do not keep most of the broth.
Okay, that's
okay. So
I feel like I just triggered some people here.
Mac, wow, I need to ask you a question here. What do you think is hotter take? Me not liking eggs or Splash draining his ramen?
Well, not all the time. I did it yesterday.
You not liking eggs.
Okay, that's fair.
Exactly. Okay,
that's fair. I just wanted to see if I could finally shift some of the heat away from that.
No, dude.
But I will go with spoons. I think spoons and forks. You can see the shape of the fork. Like it's like a little bit of a bowl. So
yeah, it's just a bowl with holes in it. Yeah,
a whole bowl. Say you're eating a piece of cake, right? You could use both for a piece of cake, or you could use both for meatloaf, or you could use both for a variety of things. And I think a spoon gives you a little bit more versatility. And rapid fire here. This is from, I believe, Alex. Baseball. Which cover boy posts the most WAR this season? Ellie De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, or Paul Skeens? Mac, you go first.
This is tough because Skeens is a pitcher.
Yep.
So I am going to go with Ellie, though. I think Ellie will take a jump this year, be top 5 in MVP voting, and I think he's going to outperform these two in terms of WAR, at least.
Yeah, I'm also going with Ellie, just because, Skeens a little bit disadvantaged at being a pitcher. But at the same time, like the speed of Ellie is what's going to put him over Henderson here, just in war terms overall. I think they're both going to have incredible seasons, though.
Fellas, give me Paul Skeens, baby. He's going to lead all pitchers in F4. He is actually, you know what? He's not just going to lead all pitchers in F4. He's going to lead all of baseball in F4. That FIP merchant, he's going to strike a bunch of guys out. He's not going to allow homers. He's not going to walk anyone. Paul Skeens, F4 leader 2025, baby. B-War, I have no idea. It won't be Skeens, but F4, it'll be Skeens. B-War, right. I don't know.
I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure you need to move to Pittsburgh with how much you love this man. But at the same time, I mean, I get it.
I'd do it.
He's Spencer Strider with a lower walk rate. And Spencer Strider is a FIP merchant, F4 merchant. He had like a 5 ERA, and F4 was like, oh, yeah, this is the best pitcher in baseball. Shout out to the Kool-Aid man. All right, that's it for this or that.
All right, thank you so much for this or that. That was fun. I like those 3 prompts. Here, let us know what you guys think. Did we obviously miss something about forks in this? Do you think that Gunnar Henderson is going to be the best MLB The Show 25 cover boy? Here, let us know on the Bird app. But now it is time for trivia, and I have the trivia reins today for something that's going to be very different. There will not be a winner in this episode of Losses Above Replacement for trivia. It will be decided by you, the fans. And here's how this is going to work. I've been watching some fun content on YouTube lately, and part of that has been Family Feud. So, gentlemen, we're going to play some fast money. So, how it normally works in Family Feud is you give the answers, and then there's the point value based on the survey. What's going to happen is I'm going to give each of you individually the 5 questions here, and then we are going to make those into a graphic that we will then post on social media, and you guys will vote who gave the best responses here. So with that being said, I have the 5 questions ready. Let me go ahead and do a quick sharing of my screen. There we are. Cool. All right. So with that being said, I have both of you listed on here. I need one of you to basically leave the room for a little bit. Not like you don't need to leave the StreamYard room here, but I need one of you basically to not be able to hear the answers on this. So okay. I have my dice tower and I have dice here. Okay. So if it is even, then Mac will leave first and then Splash will do it. And if it's odd, then Splash will leave first.
Okay.
It is odd. So Splash, can I please ask you to remove your headphones and we will bring you back in just a minute.
Okay.
All right. He cannot hear anything at this point. Splash is weird. The Braves suck. Okay, good. He can't hear. Fantastic. That's all I needed to test. So I will now go back to the tab here. We'll go from here. Because I'm going to be typing along with this, normally you would have about 20 seconds. This time, though, you're going to have a 1-minute timer on you. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions about how this is going to work?
So you said 5 questions?
Yeah, it's going to be 5 questions.
All right.
Here, well, more like prompts at this point.
Okay.
You just got to tell me how you would answer the prompt.
Okay.
All right. I'm
ready.
Fantastic. All right. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for baseball season?
10.
How many baseball games do you watch a year?
Is this just like my favorite team or like
just how many baseball games do you watch a year?
In general, just gonna ballpark it and say 160. Let's just ballpark it at that.
What baseball player is the best athlete?
Best athlete. Mookie Betts.
Name a team fan base that you feel sorry for.
The Mariners.
Name a Labs legend. Lefty athletic beefy slugger.
Labs legend.
2,
Daniel
1.
Vogelback.
All right, you got it in just in time. All right. So to go over your answers here. So for the first one here on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for baseball season? Put a 10. Number 2, how many baseball games do you watch a year? And you put 160. What baseball player is the best athlete? You have Mookie Betts. For number 4, name a team fan base that you feel sorry for. You put the Mariners. Thank you. And for number 5, name a Labs legend. You put Daniel Vogelbach. All right. I like the answers. Those are solid.
All right, sweet.
So, all right. Let's get Splash back in. I'm going to send him a quick text. Here we go. And you can stay for this because you already know what the questions are.
Okay, gotcha.
So, yeah, you don't need to leave. One thing I will do, though, is I need to turn all of your answers.
Hello, friends.
Hello there. Did you enjoy your time away from us?
Yes, and I realized halfway through that my mic wasn't muted.
Oh, fun.
So I came back and muted my... Okay. I was just like walking around in the corner of my room, but I'm like, I don't want to make any noise. I don't know if I muted my mic, and I came back. Oh, I didn't mute myself.
It's all good. I've hid Mac's answers. He's going to stay here, but just Mac, please don't say anything.
Okay.
Here. So what's going to happen, just like in like regular Fast Money, you would have about 20 seconds. You'll have a minute because I'm also going to be typing out your answers.
Sure.
Here. The question is like the timer will start. So it's going to be a minute, yeah. But the timer will start after I read the first prompt.
Okay. And
Here.
is it so if I give the same answer as Mac, I get to redo it, right?
No. If you have the same answer, we're going to keep that.
Okay.
Because you guys aren't working together, you're working against each other. So I don't want to,
That'd be funny if we gave the same 5 answers.
If you get the same 5 answers, I will laugh. Because how? Anyway.
Okay.
Regardless. Are you ready, Splash?
Yes.
All right. The timer will start after I read the first question.
Sure thing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for baseball season?
7.
How many baseball games do you watch a year?
150.
What baseball player is the best athlete?
Marcus Lynn Betts.
Number 4, name a team fan base that you feel sorry for?
The A's, man.
Name a Labs legend, lefty athletic beefy slugger.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go off the board. Mike Ford.
Ding 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 ding. All right. So we got your answers here. We'll go over them briefly here. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for baseball season? You put 7. Okay, I respect it. Number 2, how many baseball games do you watch a year? 150. All right. Number 3, what baseball player is the best athlete? You put 1, Marcus Betts.
Marcus Lynn Betts.
Marcus Lynn Betts. Number 4, a fan base you feel sorry for, the A's. And number 5, name a Labs legend. We got Mike Ford. All right. Honestly, good answers. I'll now reveal also Mac's answers here as well. You had some overlap.
Shocker there.
The only... Oh, whoops, hold on. Why did that get weird?
I'm over under 1.5. I would take under. I'd say one overlap.
So the overlap here, I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah. So if you're able to see the screen, I am sharing it here. So Mac answered.
Do you want me to
10.
add to stage?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would add it to the stage.
Oh, I didn't add it to the stage. Oh, my bad. I thought I had done that already. My bad. Anyway. So, yeah, Mac had 10 for excited baseball season. How many baseball games do you watch? 160. You were very close. You both answered Mookie Betts for number 3, which
I'm not surprised
shocked.
there. I had a feeling Splash was
Max said the Mariners, and Splash put the A's. That's fair. And Mac went with Vogie, and Splash went with Mikey.
Yeah, I almost said Mike Ford.
Yeah, Vogelbach was the first one that came to mind. Obviously, it's like I think Max said Vogelbach, so I'll go Mike Ford.
Yeah, 100% fair. Yeah, so all right, guys, we're gonna make a graphic out of this, and we'll post it on the Bird app here, potentially also Instagram. You guys tell us what you think for those as well. And who do you think is who has the better answers? Let us know on that post. We'll be making a poll along with it as well. And next podcast, we'll unveil the winner. So,
and I like that we don't have any I can't defend my answers.
If you want to defend your answers right now,
yes. So I gave a 7 out of 10. One, I thought Mac would also give a 10 too. It's still February. Games haven't started yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm excited for baseball, but I don't want to get too excited because then I stay up the whole night watching Ronald Acuna highlights, and he won't be in action until
it's not
the first part of May.
So. Not a bad thing to watch old highlights.
I know.
I do that sometimes. I stay up watching highlights.
I understand that.
I watched a different sport. I watched every touchdown Lamar had this season, and I was like, can we skip to September, please? I don't care about the draft. I don't care about free agency. I just want to watch number 8 play football and try to win games.
Try being the operative word. But
Right.
Love you, bud. Anyway, Mac, do you have any answers that you would like to defend as well?
I think Mookie Betts is a star.
We
everything
both gave bets.
Yeah, you're not defending anything.
Why am I at 10 for excitement? Because it's baseball season and Juan Soto is on my favorite team.
This is a good point.
And then it's just I don't know the number of games I watch. I kind of factor in because there's some days where I can't watch the Mets, because I'm maybe I'm on vacation or something, or they're playing a day game while I'm working or something like that, or sometimes I can't watch every game, but I do. When I'm trying to fall asleep at night, I'll throw on another game. Maybe I'll throw on the Mariners game or some other team. I'll just put on MLB Network or I'll put on MLB.TV. So that's
love watching games
sort
of
high
factors.
factors.
I will say it's very fun that you use the Mariners to fall asleep. But
Coors games not recommended to fall asleep. They always go off the rails.
Which one? Coors games?
Yeah, Coors games.
Oh yeah, those games. They go on forever.
I went to 3 or 4 Coors games last year, and those games get off. The rails
they go crazy.
There was a Brewers Diamondbacks game last year. I got in the shower. I had my entire shower before I think the Brewers recorded an out.
Wow.
The Diamondbacks had 7 straight guys reached. There were 2 pitching changes. It was 15 minutes. No outs. So games in Arizona, games in Colorado can go off the rails real fast. But.
Yeah.
Speaking of something you said just a moment ago, Mac, saying that you're excited. Excited that you have Juan Soto on your favorite team. I have a Road to the Show character that's on the White Sox. And I'm let's take a look at the Mariners in the year of our Lord 2026. They had Juan Soto.
I mean, look, Juan Soto, as you guys know, I was doing my MLB The Show Angels franchise, and Juan Soto signed with the Marlins. So
look, baseball's great, isn't it?
and then the Rays signed Vlad Guerrero Jr. in the following offseason. So this game is really MLB The Show is so realistic, man.
So realistic. Yep. I am a first baseman and closer, and I'm barely getting time. Anyway, at 80 overall. Anyway,
of course.
Okay. A side note: if Shohei Ohtani became a closer, how would that work? Because he closed out the World Baseball Classic, and I would be intrigued if the Dodgers try that.
I would want to see that. Yeah,
so I would obviously want to see that. Give me Max Effort Ohtani because I was electric.
I mean, rule wise, right? You are allowed to do that. The way how you do it though is that you
lose your DH.
Yeah, but if it's the 9th inning and you're up by 3,
you wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But how would he warm up?
You could just send him to the bullpen, especially if he's already DHing.
But what if his spot comes up in the order?
Be in the bullpen underneath that's part of the warm-up area.
That's true. The Trop would be pretty. I think they moved it in the Trop. Well, the Trop's not an active facility this year. I'm going to Tampa to see a game. It's George M. Steinbrenner Field. I'm going. I don't care what my finances say. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. I'm going to Tampa. Actually, I probably would.
I went to a spring training game there last year, and Giancarlo Stanton hit 3 homers. So,
yeah, I remember that game.
Guys, make sure to go follow Ryan Splash Pots for more financial advice.
Yes, Don't invest in crypto. Invest in Doge. That's crypto.
That is crypto.
Ignore previous
All right.
And it's gone off the rails.
And we've got off the rails just like a Coors game. All right. It's now time to head to the final segment. So I did every podcast here with a moment to ourselves where we just take a minute, talk about whatever's on our minds. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Gentlemen, who would like to go first? Looks like Splash, you had your hands up there.
Sure.
So you are going first. I have decreed it. It is happening. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1. Go.
Whoop. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have an announcement to make. It is the correct top 5 NFL quarterbacks. Number 5, it's Jalen Hurts. He claimed the number 5 spot. If you had asked me a week ago, I would have said it was a vacant. I would have said it could be Stafford could be 6, Hurts could be 6, Jaden could be 6. Well, Jalen Hurts, congratulations, you are number 5. Number 4 is Josh Allen, the fraudulent MVP. And number 3 is Patrick Mahomes. Get Matt Nagy out, Kansas City. What are we doing, man? Fire Matt Nagy. I'm not one to call for people's jobs, but hire someone off the street. What is Eric Bieniemy doing nowadays? I guess was he at UCLA last year? What is Eric Bieniemy doing nowadays? Figure it out. At number 2, Joe Shiesty. And number 1, our Lord and Savior, the best quarterback in the NFL. It's Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry. I have eyes. I watched the playoff games. He was excellent against Pittsburgh, and he was excellent against Buffalo. He had 2 turnovers. Fabulous. Josh Allen was gifted those 2 turnovers and gifted another turnover and gifted a drop at the end of the game, and he played fine. Lamar, yeah, I mean, he made a couple mistakes. I'll admit that. But he was nails. Outside of that, he gave Baltimore a chance to win despite the mistakes. Josh Allen barely gave his team a chance to win despite having a +3 turnover differential. And then the next week, season on the line, your legacy is on the line, number 17. And he was like, how about 17 yards? That's the best I can do. That's the best I can do. Lamar Jackson, QB number 1. Joe Burrow, QB 2. Patrick Mahomes, QB 3. All of them better than that fraudulent MVP. Bang.
Dang, you really mispronounced Geno Smith at number 1. That's weird. Anyway,
Geno Smith is
and Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
A man who legitimately got.
Whoa. Joe Milton is a more talented quarterback than Josh Allen. That's my final take.
Okay. Real quick, by the way, get your butt back here.
Oh man, Joe Milton is an absurd athlete. He makes Mookie Betts look like a second grader.
You want to know what's sad?
Unbelievable.
Mac, do you want to see me really trigger Splash real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Who got more snaps in the Super Bowl this year between Lamar Jackson or Kenny Pickett?
Dude, I'd rather not go into this, man.
Shout out to Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, shout out to Kenny Pickett.
Clown.
Anyway, Mac, would you like to go? Would you like me to
go? No, go ahead.
All right, sounds good. All right, someone give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm really getting into collecting trading cards again. Like, not so much Pokemon cards, like sports cards, and also wrestling cards. A lot of fun. Honestly, at this point, I'm trying really hard because my budget doesn't like it, especially since I'm unemployed at the moment. But, like, I love that feeling of opening a packet, seeing a card that has, like, an autograph on it, or seeing a numbered card on it. And I'm still waiting for 3 cards that I sent to PSA to get graded. Mind you, I sent these out in November of 2024 and have still got nothing back. And I'm scared because I've been hearing more that they're doing upcharges now if the card is really valuable. Here, so, and right now, guess what I don't have? It's called money in my bank account currently. So I'm really hoping that there's no issues there. I just want to get my cards back. I have a number to 25 orange refractor Mason Wynn that is, I want to see what that grade. I got an autographed Steve Garvey card and another one as well. But, collecting cards, a lot of fun. I'm very excited about it. Speaking of grading cards, here's my grade 9.51 of Cal Raleigh after hitting the Big Dumper Drought Buster home run.
Yeah, I currently am not super big into collecting, but I know I have friends that, you know, they get packs all the time. But I know that I used to get, you know, baseball cards, Pokemon cards, stuff like that. And I think it's pretty cool, honestly. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's fun. I still open up Pokemon cards because I still play the TCG like competitively a little bit. But at that point, I might as well just buy the singles as opposed to buying packs. So, anyway, Mac, it is your turn. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, so I do want to take a second to talk about Pete Alonso's signing. I think it's good for both sides, really. I think this happened the day after we recorded last week. You guys obviously know that the segment This or That, you know, we've been submitting prompts to Splash, and one of mine was, will Pete Alonso sign over or under 3 years? And honestly, I had it about even. I thought he was going to get a 3-year deal. Well, he got a 2-year deal with an opt-out. He'll make $30 million this year. I really think this is a team-friendly contract. I'm glad he came to his senses. The deal just became official about 20 minutes ago, I think. This is a guy who's probably going to break the franchise home run record this year. He currently has 226. The record's 252. And if he does break it and say the team does go far this year, we're looking at a guy who could have his jersey retired at some point. I don't know if he's going to be met beyond 2025. Say he has a big year, decides to get a big contract elsewhere, fine. It is what it is. In the moment, though, he's here to help the team win. He wants to be here. If not, you know, Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a free agent next year. So who knows what can happen there. But overall, I think the fans, the team, everyone involved should be excited about this. The fans had their voices heard about, you know, they want Pete back. They made themselves heard at Amazing Day. And, you know, I think this is best for both sides. And I'm really excited to see what he can do, especially with Juan Soto on the team.
Yeah, the Mets are going to be absolutely crazy.
I would bet a comically large amount of money that Pete Alonso drives in 100 runs this season. I don't know what the line is going to be, but if he doesn't drive in 100 runs, it would have to have been like the Citi Field sign fell on top of him.
Yeah, I know that he only drove in 88 this year, but it's a different setting. You know, year, I think, you know, he's going to be hitting behind Soto. So, like, if Soto's on base, then, you know, Alonso will drive him in, or maybe he's
that second at times last year.
To Alonso?
Yeah.
So
am I totally tripping?
He was mostly cleanup, but then last year he was until the playoffs, he really struggled with men in scoring position. But in general, he would bat cleanup. But then you know they put like
he did have 24 games batting second. I'm not totally on shrooms.
Yeah, I know. And when he was a rookie, he batted second a lot. I believe his major league debut he batted second. But I think next year either I see him batting third behind Soto or fourth behind Vientos.
Okay, fair enough.
I 100% agree. I think
yes, he did bat number 2 in his debut and his first 12 games.
I think that Alonso is going to be nuts this year with Soto there as well.
That's part of the reason why I wanted him back, is because he's going to get to hit with Soto in the lineup.
Yeah, they drove in 131 runs 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's the franchise record. He's the franchise record holder in single season home runs and RBIs.
There you go.
Legendary.
Just got to get the batting average up.
And for some reason, people did not want him back on the team. New York sports fans, tough crowd.
I don't know, man. He plays every day. He's missed like 20 games total in his career.
The tough part is that in 2023, he broke his hand, and then he decided to try to be Superman and come back in 10 days, right. And that was a bad idea because that's when he got hit in the head. Yeah, Morton fastball, right. Yeah. But then he decided to try to come back in 10 days, and he clearly was still hurting because he couldn't make contact for the next 3 weeks.
And he still finished 17th in MVP voting.
Yeah, he still got hit 46 homers with that terrible slump.
Not bad at all.
Not a one. Anyway, but that's going to do it for us here today on Losses Above Replacement. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. If you would like to go support us here, make sure you go leave us a subscription on YouTube or a follow on Spotify, 5-star review, or like on the video. Here, you can go Follow us on Twitter at LAR_baseball. You can follow me individually at SportsGuy242. Go follow Mac at Mathias_A_K. Go follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19. Here, we're also on Instagram here at LAR_baseball as well. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.